I won't claim to be an expert on the Paladins competitive metagame. I understand it, but I'm no bird. But if there is one thing I have, it is a doctorate in Paladins skin rating. Proof. You see, that's 100% real. I went to college and everything. So, what I can talk about today is the Paladin skin metagame, and the many changes that OB58 brought into it that completely change how we see everything. Now, let's go through this pretty simply. First of all, I want to talk about Barrack. He got a little bit of a visual update this time round. As you can clearly see, he's very different. As soon as it loads. But he's very different. However, I don't think that this changes his place overall. It certainly looks better than the old Barrack, and he actually has rocket boots now. His turrets just look a lot better. Everything has just been generally improved. However, I think that he's still being carried, and he is still mostly in one of the top spots because of the TF2 skin, which is just absolutely amazing. I love this skin. I don't think it's necessarily the best thing for him, though. I will admit that this all works, okay? And then, obviously, the weapon. However, what I use, preferably, Undying Blunderbuss. It just fits a little bit better than either the default or any of the other red things, the high-tech, as it's now called, or the TF2 Blunderbuss. I just think Undying looks very nice, and just gives you that nice little picture there as you're trying to burn your enemies to death. And then also, I would suggest either using his default headpiece, as it looks fine, or if not that, use the Stone Cut main, as it as well, it looks very nice. The one annoyance I have is the eyebrows are orange, whereas the hair is all white, but you know, that's not too bad. Just a quick honorable mention, just because they really don't change all that much about them. I want to talk about the Brazilian skins for Cassie and Lex. They are obviously recolors of the old Summer chests, Sunkissed Cassie and Longboard Lex. However, I think that these just look a little bit better. You know, Ziggs is decked out and looking very nice. I like the black hair here, and then Lex also looks a little bit better. I feel that Lexosuit is not good, honestly. But I think that go with Peacekeeper, the Peacekeeper Magnums, if you can do this, and then use the Sarada Aviators. Using default Lex aside from just the shades just looks very nice, and the black hair just fits him a little bit better. I don't like that there's no circlet, but, you know, that's not too bad. But yeah, use one of these for your heads, and it honestly doesn't matter what you use for the body. You could, in fact, go with the Eroded Oath guns, because these are actually quite powerful. They look very nice, and they're actually a very underused weapon, although I think that's just because Lex doesn't see much play at all. But now that he's got even more really interesting skins, I think we'll be seeing him a lot more. The skin metagame. Alright. The next real thing that got changed is the FN01 Erebos, because it makes Fernando a bit different. Previously, I would have suggested use the Helios Great Helm, the Helios Body, and then either the Helios Incinerator, or my more preferred, the Cosmic Flame Lance. That thing just looks so cool, and overall it just kind of shows off, yes, I am a true skin pro. Fight me. However, right now, I think that I am, going to be switching over to Erebos Great Helm, Erebos Body, and Obsidian Flame Lance. Just because, you know, this Flame Lance fits a bit better than the Cosmic Flame Lance did, but it still shows off that you are a pro at skins. And let's just face it, Erebos, he's edgy. He's edgier than Helios, so you know he's gonna be better. It's just that them's the rules, guys. And as always, Fernando gets absolutely carried by his emote. Literally the best thing in the entire game. It is what makes this guy S+ tier. Next up, we have Genos and his stuff. The Eclipse skin is actually very nice, and I think it was put together well. I would prefer that his little blue thing right here be made red instead, but that's alright. The skin overall is not bad, but seriously, the buffs to this thing, look at that. This thing is just so much stronger and a much better weapon for it. If you can't get the full Eclipse stuff, and I understand, not everyone's going to want to use the same thing. You are free to use whatever you want. I would suggest using Eclipse, however, Millennium makes up a fine alternative, and it's a bit easier to use than Eclipse. But if you are not using the Eclipse Star Splitter, you are doing it absolutely wrong, because this meshes very well together, even without Eclipse. Next up we have Leon, and I think that Goddess's Wisdom here, this, just using the Goddess stuff, that'll work, okay? But if you really want to get better, combo it with the Viridian Hairpin instead. It maintains this blue, white, and gold color scheme a lot better than the brown hair does, and just gives her a more pure appearance. It's a little bit easier, not by much, but you'll still notice a difference in... It will feel better using it this way than going full-on Goddess. So yeah, this is what I suggest using for Leon. We'll get to her in a sec, guys. First up, we gotta talk about Xin. Now, previously, this was the meta for Xin. Go with Warlord Topknot, Greed Armor, and Deathbringer Sword. This was about as good as Xin could get without some serious reworks. This is just 2 default colorations and a special sword model. It's not really much in the way of changing Xin to make him really fit in with the rest of the cast. However, they changed all that with the addition of Conqueror. I think if you want to use Conqueror's full set, that is fine. You can use it and it will still be fine. One thing to note, do not use Conqueror's voice pack with the basic stuff of Xin. It just does not... Just don't do it, guys. Do not do it, okay? However, I am going to suggest something a bit better. Go with the Conqueror or Xin voice pack. You can use either one. Keep the Conqueror's body and equip the default hair. And this just looks a lot cooler. You've got some nice hair going on. It kind of meshes well with everything. And especially the war paint, because you can actually see it this way, and it becomes a lot more effective. With the war helm, or the battle helm, whatever it's called, it's just, it's okay. But then you put on this, and you see this face looking at you, and it's just like, yeah, I'm gonna kill you. It's absolutely amazing. And you can... Deathbringer is his best sword, by far, but I feel like Conqueror's just meshes well. And often, the most powerful thing is not always the best one to pick. It's just the one that synergizes the most with everything else. Alright, I delayed long enough. Let's talk about it. This has taken Maeve from a... Yeah, she was B tier. She was B tier in terms of skin. She is double S now. This is absolutely amazing. And it doesn't even have to be this head. Personally, I prefer the Cosmic Clasp with this set. But you can use whatever you want. It still will look pretty fine. Pretty fine. The dubstep throughout the entire thing is just overpowered. The tailback, though, the tail, it's overpowered as well. And just this jacket looks better than any of the others. Those boots. This is just... She is too powerful in the skin department right now. And there is no way that you can nerf her skins to bring her down to anybody else's level. Everybody else has to be buffed to get onto Maeve's level, alright? Use the Rave. Use this voice pack, okay? And you're pretty much set in terms of the cool skins with this. I don't think I missed anything. Yeah, so I want to thank you all so very much for watching. Actually, there's one other thing I have to mention. If you're not using the Get Wrecked spray on everyone, get out. You don't belong in the skin metagame. Again, thank you all so very much for watching, and I hope to see you all next time. Until then.